Hello, 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 everybody, and welcome to a Moo episode of Indie Film Cafe. I'm your old pal, the Moo Cow, aka Paulie Presenza, and as usual, I am joined by,
Jonathan A. Moody, your co-host.
yay, and together the two of us have a very special guest joining us. Please introduce yourself.
Danielle Harper.
Yay,
Yay! Danielle's back.
outstanding.
I don't know why she's
Yay!
back, but she's back.
No, I love it.
Yay! Outstanding. Well, we have gathered, as we do from time to time, to watch a movie, and this time we did a pretty recent film from 2025, and it's on Tubi, so if you guys can't wait to get your hot little hooves on this film, you can, and it is called Bikini Nuns.
It is.
Oh dear.
It's called
boy,
that.
Oh boy. It's a something. It really is something.
Yep.
It is not nothing. It is an actual thing that exists.
It does exist. Yes.
Yeah. We saw it. We know.
We watched it.
We watched it.
Were I to describe it to people, I'm not sure people would think that it exists, but it really does. And we're
Well,
gonna go ahead and talk about this after we hear some
Mood music.
None of that now, sir. All right, we are back. And let's not get too crazy on the nun jokes here. I'm
Well,
sure there's going to be a ton of those, and those are non acceptable at this point.
Well, this is our second Nun movie, right? Like, is this
I think
not
so.
this? I think this is our second because I did one before called None of That, with none of that, and we then and I think that's it. I think that we have.
I love nunsploitation films. This is
Didn't
not one of
Donald
them.
Farmer do Nun Exorcist or something?
Oh dear
Yes,
goodness.
something like that.
Something like that. Yeah, I'm sure. There's all these different nun movies. There's a bunch of bikini movies too, made by the same people, like Bikini Shark.
Oh
That's a
my.
Shark
real.
in a bikini, of
It's
course.
not. Sadly, I would
That
love
would have
that.
been probably pretty interesting.
I would watch that. But unfortunately,
Now,
it's just called Bikini Shark.
I have never and been in a movie where I've played a nun, but Danielle, have you?
I haven't. But I did just submit to play a nun in something.
There
So
you
we'll
go.
see.
Then
You
it's
I'm
might
pretty
be.
sure it's not in a bikini though. Or lingerie, as in this case.
There's no.
Yeah, you don't usually, connect nuns and lingerie, except in this particular cinematic universe, you do.
I mean, I think it would get more attention if it were called like Lingerie Nuns, But
I
I,
think it would attract a different group of humans though, don't you
yeah,
think? Like
maybe.
And that group would have been sorely disappointed
they
because
would have.
for that kind of film, it tends to have a certain kind of actress playing those roles. And
Yes.
they're not in this particular film.
Mm-mm.
So, who would like to talk a little bit about what the heck happens in Bikini Nuns?
Oh, you
Go
go.
ahead, Danielle. No, you go ahead.
I there's a part of this story that I think I like, interestingly enough. So the general concept of the nuns going sort of vigilante style, going and finding out something that has happened to, this orphanage. There's something interesting there, right? And so
Nuns
that
with
is a
guns.
storyline for sure that could be anything and it could be built out. However, in this particular movie, they chose to have three main characters of nuns who spend half the movie in their lingerie and half the movie dressed as slightly slutty nuns.
Just like reality.
Yeah,
Bloody
just
Nuns.
how it truly is. And I think Catholic school would definitely feel differently if they saw this movie. And the nuns would probably dress differently. But I think there is some really interesting undertones to the actual story that they tried to do. I think it fell short. I think the lingerie was actually more distracting than entertaining. And
Filler is really what it felt like.
yeah,
Yeah, because like
it
it would
was
just go to it was go to almost the same scene where she's just in
over
the
and over
scene
again.
just showing
And it adds
herself in it.
nothing.
Yeah.
And
All
it
it
was
does is undermine the fact that these people are not nuns.
correct. And, I mean, having been a child of Catholic school, I have to say that um, no, nuns don't wear makeup. Nuns don't let their hair be seen. Nuns don't wear tight clothing either. I don't know about underneath their wardrobe,
And as
but
far as I
even their
know,
wardrobe does
they
not
don't.
need to be tight.
As far as
Um,
I know, they don't kill people either.
yeah, no, they don't kill each other, or they don't kill people. They don't go after each other. But I do think that if I think there could have been something great in this story that they missed the mark on.
For me, the big thing was it felt like a wannabe Charlie's Angels,
Yes.
with like nuns. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I'm all for that. If that was like how somebody pitched me this movie and they were like, it's Charlie's Angels with nuns, I'd be like, I'm
Cool.
sold.
Yeah.
Right? Like that sounds fun.
Except that wasn't really what we got, though.
No.
That's the
Nothing
problem.
close to that. And, I mean, I think even the poster is deceiving, right? Like
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah.
No, this isn't how it happens.
None of them look like that.
None
No.
of them.
No, none of them do.
None.
I don't like to tear their actors apart, but I do have to say that I love accents personally. Like I'm really in on that, and I actually love British television, and so for me it was not hard to understand as far as the accent is concerned, but I did find it actually distracting in this particular thing, and partially because they're all different accents. No one was from had the same dialect. I also I felt that the leading lady really was hard to understand. She mumbled a lot. She did not articulate. And so that also was a deterrent for me as I was watching, unfortunately, because she had she had some moments that were interesting. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I like how she did that. And then I was like, wait, what did she just say? So I had a lot of those.
Yeah, there was one scene in particular where, of course, they're all lounging around the pool in their bikinis and lingerie.
It was actually lingerie.
As nuns do, of course. And there was like 4 or 5 of them. And they're all talking about goofy shit. All of them have the accents. They're all different accents.
Mm-hmm.
And they all mumble. And they're all mumbling. And they're like, this is like having Sylvester Stallone talk with Jean-Claude Van Damme.
With Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Except they all have marbles in their mouth.
Yeah.
Yes. That's a great way to describe that. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. And that pool scene was so utterly ridiculous. It was just an excuse to have them in the lingerie,
And
but
one
like,
had a lisp, a really bad one.
why didn't
Yes.
they have bikinis? Like, I mean,
I don't know. I don't know why they didn't have bikinis.
like it was so weird. Like, if you're gonna call the movie Bikini, did they not call it originally Bikini Nuns and then they changed it to Bikini Nuns?
is
Like,
Maybe
Geek
it was like
Maggot
bra
Bingo.
nuns.
Geek Maggot Bingo
Bra
has
nuns.
no geeks, no maggots, no bingo. This had supposed to be nuns. I didn't buy in 1 second. They didn't do a single thing like pray or worship Christ or anything that have to do with a nun. All they did was they bought it from like a dime store and put it on for
Yeah.
like part of the film, and that's it.
they wore crosses. Like,
And there were no bikinis really that I noticed.
um,
I'm kind
but
of thankful for that though.
there was, there was some what is it, crosses. There was some. I think at one point they did do like a line that's a very like Christian line, but it wasn't like a prayer or wasn't anything Catholic. It was just something random, you know.
Yeah, they did throw a few in. I noticed a few, but some of them were things that everybody would know, and some of them were things people, unless you're Catholic or Christian, you might not know. I agree with you on that. And that's why I say I think they missed the mark, right? Like I think the bikini element of it just needs to go away completely because there was no bikinis. But
Even
also
the nun thing can go away because it doesn't add anything to the story. What if these were just private detectives like Charlie's Angels? That would have worked just fine.
Well, yeah, I agree with you, but maybe it would be better as Charlie's Angels private detectives that go undercover as
Right.
As nuns.
as nuns.
Undercover
Or maybe
nuns. I
they
guess that's
are
been
like
done.
vigilante nuns, but they have to stay as nuns,
That's
and like they, like the
Nuns with nunchucks.
I knew something was coming.
no, no, Undercover Nuns would be in a better title.
Yes.
Right?
I would have done that. And here's the
And I
thing.
would have auditioned for something like that.
Nuns with bad habits.
Oh,
You
that
had
would
so
have
much
been good.
fun with
Well,
this. There was no fun. It was
there
just
is
ineptitude.
there is a movie called was it Nuns with Guns,
Yeah,
you know?
Ah,
And so I mean,
it's
so
on the
they've
list.
already yeah, so they already have that out there, so they're like I guess Bikini Nuns or Bra Nuns, which is probably what they were called, but Bikini Nuns gets it closer to iTunes, alphabetically. So
Yeah, but
people,
the thing is, usually for these kinds of exploitation films that we're talking about, they tend to have a certain kind of actress.
yeah.
Like I said, they typically tend to be younger, they typically tend to be blonder, they typically tend to be larger bosomed than what's going on here. So
Yeah.
they kind of even failed in that regard too.
I also found it interesting that they've spent a lot of filler with these lovely nuns standing in their bras in front of mirrors, putting on their makeup, which I get is supposed to be like, anti-nun, but at the same time, like, I'm going to be honest with you. I don't stand in front of my mirror in my bra and put my makeup on. Like that's
Don't
not
you?
how it works. No, I don't do that. And I'm
see
not a
this
nun either. So, I mean,
this is why Paul wanted you on the show because you're giving us the real deal of what women really
Right.
do
You have to
that we
understand in the
don't know.
male world, when they see these scenes where women stand in showers and they're just like,
La da da da
just
da.
rubbing the,
Yeah.
they think this is real. And it's like, no.
No,
dude,
no.
This is not.
I mean, yeah, no.
She's trying to think of the time that she did that or not.
I mean, I think occasionally maybe I've done that like because of like I'm doing something for like work, like I have to put on a dress or something, but usually I have like a bathrobe on or like something. I don't know. It's just and I don't know. Yeah, no, no.
No, no.
Yeah, so the idea of a nun in front of the mirror is like, I'm just so hot. I'm just going to look at myself while I get dressed.
And
Yeah.
it's usually the one that's not that hot that does
Mhm.
it, like the most unattractive one that just happens to have a bigger chest.
And I don't want to
And
sound like a
so,
pig. It's just,
like
these were just either
Um,
kind
yeah,
of
but
blah
okay,
or just unattractive.
I agree with you, but I also have to say that the leading lady, I felt for her because I'm not sure if there was a makeup artist on this set because
mm,
her makeup was a
Atrocious.
disaster the
Atrocious.
entire film. And I wanted to rip her eyelashes off and be like, I'm so sorry, young lady, like I'm gonna redo your makeup, like that's what I thought like halfway through.
She is the reason I got this movie. Okay, so let me go a little bit into detail about who's in this catastrophe. Okay, so first of all, the director is Shaka Kim. This is the first and only film he's ever directed. Believe it
Right.
or
is it
not.
he or she?
I just think that's a he.
Okay.
Shaka Kim. Written by Alessandro Di Giuseppe, who also wrote Leprechaun: The New Beginning.
That's not the real Leprechaun movie.
No,
That's
no.
like
But the other thing he wrote is something called Faith and Family: The Meaning of Christmas.
Oh my goodness. Well, that's a little different than what this was.
Yeah.
Okay.
there's no bikinis or nuns in that one.
Or
I
maybe
don't
there
think.
is.
Maybe there is.
Our lead actress is Chrissy Werna. That's Mary. She was in Dinosaur Hotel, Monsters of War, Curse of Bloody Mary, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, Part 2, Pterodactyl, Nutcracker Massacre, Shockwaves, Kingdom of the Dinosaurs. There's a ton.
I mean, good for her. That's amazing that she's a regularly
Well,
working actor, but
She's the female Eric Roberts of England into all these ITN movies. She's in everything.
cool.
That's what got me into this because I saw Dinosaur Hotel. It was even worse than this film.
Great.
And I started saying, okay, she's clearly involved in garbage. I have to get every movie she's ever been in. So that's what I've been doing. So
Well, yeah, you saw what Dinosaur Hotel, and you're just like, this is
it
so
was so
I
bad.
have to see it. I have to see all the things and see
it's
what
a
she's
hotel
doing.
with dinosaurs. It's
Good.
ridiculous.
I'm glad
and
at
again,
least
it
that's
sounds like it should be good, but no.
well, it's not like
Right?
Bikini
Like I
Shark.
conceptually that would be kind of cool. Like what?
Yeah, I know.
I want to play in that bubble of hotel. Like yeah.
Yeah, I
And
don't know
then
if
you
I
watch the
would.
movie, and it's just like, oh my god, this is so disappointing.
Huh.
But
Oh,
to continue on, Sarah, who was I guess, the seductress nun,
Yes, the wavy haired young
the
lady.
wavy hair, she was played by Anne Rakalova. She was in a movie called Mermaid's Curse 2 and a French film called La Chute de Holmes, and that's
Okay.
about it. And then Eva, who was actually the one that I liked and I thought was the cutest one. She was I guess the the
The
smart
taller,
one who
yeah,
who
the
did all the background stuff.
yeah.
yeah, she did all the background stuff. I mean, she was the cuter one, but so it made me confused as to why she wasn't the seductress one
I
as opposed to
know.
the other girl. But
Wrongly
I
cast
mean,
because she did a lot more stuff than the other one did too. But she was played by Clara Lagalaise Moha. She was in a film called Wickedness, and that's about it. She is a professional backpacker and travel consultant who I guess is expanding into film because I actually went on her page on her Instagram, and so she does all this travel stuff,
That's cool.
but she's trying to branch out and do some other stuff.
yeah,
I actually didn't think that she was too
she's
bad. I
my
thought as an
favorite
actress,
of the
yeah,
group.
she did a pretty good job. Her accent was kind of thick, but I was
Yeah, but
okay with
it
that.
worked. Yeah, I have to agree with you. If I had to pick one, it was actually I liked the father the best as actors go.
As
Um,
actors go, yeah, he was pretty good.
but I think of the three women, she was definitely the best of all of them. She had some really nice moments. And I was like, "Ooh, I like how you did that." Or, like I'm that person that's go, "I like that. I'm going to steal that
Yeah.
someday." And she had maybe one or two of those and for me and I didn't mind her accent. It sounded a little German. But her accent didn't bother me. I understood everything she was saying. It was the others that I was
Right,
Yeah,
right, right.
especially when they have a lot of dialogue, and then after a while, you're just kind of like, what did they say?
yes.
I'm glad I had subtitles because,
Oh, I did
like
not. I
you,
didn't do subtitles.
you didn't do subtitles?
I should
Oh,
have.
That's even
yeah,
worse.
there was a subtitles option, so you could have,
I mean, I like I said, I watch a lot of British television and a lot of shows like out of New Zealand and Australia, and so I'm really used to the accent. So when I heard the accent, it's like it's gonna be fine. And then I was like, oh my god, I don't know what's going on half the time. Should have turned subtitles on.
Well,
Well,
I'm deaf in my left ear, so I always have captions. And my dad's deaf, so like almost everybody in my family feel like they're deaf, so we just keep the
Smart.
things on all the time. It's just easier.
well,
Yeah.
the priest that you were talking about, Priest Robert Gray, was played by Christopher Koros,
Uh-huh.
who has been in a bunch of other things. I don't know. I didn't write down anything specific, but I know he's been in other things, which is why he actually was better than most of them.
Mhm.
And
He's
then the
more
one who
professional.
was the worst, in my opinion, even though she was attractive, and that is the one of the other nuns, Rachel. She was the one with the long blonde hair. She was played by Reed Hayes. She was on a TV show called Abbott Elementary. She was on a couple episodes
Oh wow,
there.
so is she
Abbott
American?
Elementary is great.
She American?
I don't think she's American, no, but her accent was really bad. She was like, and now they would understand what their consequences of their actions are going to be. Oh my God, it was really bad.
Yeah.
She, in my opinion, was the worst. She needs a little help.
She does. But I see she's definitely more mainstream than the others are as far as appearance, and that's probably why she's
Yeah. Although, frankly, this you can probably lay a lot of the blame onto the director because this is a first-time director who probably had no idea what they were doing and probably was not in a position to say, hey, tone this down a little bit or give us a few more takes or think about some motivation behind what you're saying and why you're saying it. You know
And
what I mean?
one of the things that I hear probably the most on set, and this is common even in seasoned directors, is a lot of times the DPs and the director will have like this behind the scenes conversation of like, oh, I think we should get that angle. And a lot of times the director's like, oh no, we don't need it. And the DP's like, you're gonna want it, and if you don't do it now, you're not gonna have it when you go looking for it later, and there's so much truth to that. Like I was on set yesterday and that was it. We had done all of our scenes, all of our takes, all the things mapped out. And then the DP said, listen, you got a shot you missed. and it wasn't listed, but they're like, you got to take it. And the director's like, oh, but we're getting tired. And we were like, listen, we'll do it. Just set up, let's go. Like, um,
Uh, I mean, I get that because I like that would work. That's the way you should be with any when you're a director dealing with a DP. If a DP says, you forgot something, you do it if you got time to do it. If there's
yeah,
people still around and like you haven't sent somebody home that's part of that scene or something, then you just go and fucking do it. But to say, and I don't necessarily know if that's the case in this movie or not. Maybe there's some of that, but I think also there's a lot of times where new directors just don't know how to direct actors and tell them how to
Hmm.
act. And a lot of new directors, especially, are afraid to tell somebody who's been doing acting for a while, can you tone it down? Can you but like a friend of mine worked with Steven Spielberg and he actually got told, you know, just tone it down like this much, right? Or whatever. He did it, and then the next time he was like, "Can you tone it down a little bit more?" Right? And then he got it exactly the way, Steven Spielberg wanted it for Lincoln. It was perfect, and
Yeah,
everything.
someone like this probably doesn't even know that that is an option. You know what
right.
I mean? But the thing is, and I'm sure as Moody, you could probably, I'll let you talk about it because you did a little research on this, but this is a running theme with a lot of these films produced by this particular individual with ITN. So why don't you talk to us a little bit about that?
Okay, so yeah. So I did a little bit of research today because I just got fascinated that the fact that Louisa Warren, who's the producer of this film, she's directed many movies, including like Scarecrow, Curse of the Scarecrow, things like that,
Like two,
and
three, four, five, and
yeah, she's
six.
done like a few of the Leprechaun movies that aren't actual like the Leprechaun movies. They're just called Leprechaun's Curse and other things like that, which I guess is okay. I don't I guess because it's a common, name, they can't like trademark the name Leprechaun,
Yeah.
for the horror
Yeah.
films. So anybody can do that just to make it look like, oh, there's a new Leprechaun movie out. No, there's not. These are movies
Definitely
made
not.
in
And they're worse
England.
than the original ones.
Exactly. Because they don't have the
If you can believe
fun.
that.
They don't have the fun of the original ones. They don't go to space or anything. But
Well, come
she
on.
is making a movie called Dracula in Space, and
Oh
that's
my
driving me
Yay.
crazy. I will watch that.
I will watch that
I
too.
know it's going to be terrible, but I will watch
Yes.
it. Um,
That's why I'm watching it.
Not me. I want to watch it because I want to see Dracula in space. I think that's hilarious. Assembly line filmmaking, right? These producers run filmmaking like a factory, not a project of passion. Workflow looks like write or acquire a simple script, cast quickly, lock locations that can be reused, shoot in 4 to 10 days. They're very quick
Or
shoots,
less.
or less.
That's why we probably don't have very many good camera angles.
Right. They just do it real quick. Minimal crew, edit fast, sell immediately. Rinse, repeat. It sounds impossible until you stop thinking Hollywood and start thinking industrial efficiency. Budgets are very small. Most of the UK horror comedy genre titles are 10,000 pounds to 100,000 pound budgets. Sometimes less, sometimes much less, you know with 4 to 6 actors, 1 to 2 locations, skeleton crew, no name talent, or 1 to 2 names remote. That low overhead means they don't have to raise huge money and they can move fast. Guaranteed distribution. These filmmakers usually pre-sell before they shoot or have standing deals with high-volume streamers like Tubi, Freevee, Pluto, UK broadcast
Keep
television
shipping them out.
like Horror Channel, Sky Licensing, foreign buyers, DVD distributors who want product. So instead of, we hope someone buys this, it's deliver us a Shark, Witch, Demon, Nun movie by March 12th and we'll pay you X amount of money. Now, by the way, Shark, Witch, Demon, Nun movie sounds awesome.
I know.
I
I
would
would
watch that
love to
one.
be in that situation. Please crank out crappy movies and we'll
But
pay
no,
you.
I'm saying like I
God
want a movie
almighty.
where it has all four
All
of
of
those
it.
like together in one movie. I would die.
And by the way, I as soon as you said Dracula in space, all I kept thinking was, please let them have a scene where they're all in their spacesuits and Dracula's trying to bite someone, but he can't because they're all in these big bubbles. Like, he can't get to their necks.
But I feel like I feel like if this was in the 80s or the 90s, that is what would happen. But now they've like gone away from the humor of the ridiculousness. You know, like it's not funny anymore. It's just bad.
Yeah, and that's
they're
another
trying
thing.
to be too serious.
Well,
they're
we'll
trying to make it
definitely
good.
talking about that later, I think, in this whole story. But they're basically filling content orders. Pre-existing infrastructure. Producing constantly is much easier than you already have it because you already have a trusted crew you reuse, actors on speed dial, editors cut while you shoot, locations that say yes every time, post houses already budgeted, insurance and companies already set up. So, like what she did was she started with like 3 movies back to back, and 2 of them were Scarecrow movies, and then she just sent them out, and people were like, "Oh, she can make these movies. Great. Let's pay you to do more."
And I'm so jealous. I would love to be in that position, and I guarantee you, if I were in that position, the movies I would crank out would be a lot more fun.
Yeah.
May not necessarily be
I would
better.
hope so.
Wouldn't necessarily be better because of the money involved, but I guarantee you they'd be more fun.
Genre and gimmick, reliable sales. UK low budget genre thrives on nuns, sharks, demons, hauntings, holiday horror, and TNA comedy horror, which I don't think we see many of those actually on these ones. Buyers want recognizable keywords. If the Asylum built a career off of Sharknado, zombie tidal wave, alien convergence, UK factories do the same with Bikini Nuns, Sky Sharks, Winnie the Pooh spoof horror, and Witches of the Lake.
And they would do things like they would take nursery rhymes and suddenly take those characters and make them sinister. Like there was an evil Humpty Dumpty, which is ridiculous.
But it was but the worst part was it was a Humpty Dumpty doll.
Right.
And that made it even worse because I was like, Humpty Dumpty doll? Like, that can't even break. Like, what is going on here? I thought the whole idea that
lazy.
Yeah.
You know what? To be honest, though, I would have been happy to be in Sharknado.
Sure.
We came up with one that I want to do one day if I ever could. If I ever had like a budget to do anything like
Roller
this.
Shark?
No, Vampnado. I wanted to do.
Yeah.
Yes, we talked about that, and I was like, vampires, and then it bites you. You turn into a Vampnado, and right.
I wanted to do Zomnado because you could have a hurricane hitting Haiti where all the zombies live, and it sucked up a bunch of them, and then it floats over and it redeposits them.
And then you can have Vampnado versus Zomnado, and just have them.
And
would be all in on that.
Vampnado versus Zomnado.
But see, that's the thing. You would make it fun, and as you guys said, and I'm not going to read the whole thing of this research because there's a lot more. It's basically the whole idea is it's a factory. So they take these really quick scripts. Somebody just goes, okay, and it's the same thing the Asylum does nowadays, which kind of is boring. Where they take because I worked on an Asylum movie, as Paul and I have reviewed it on Patreon only, and it's funny because that was done by a first-time director who had only done like a short film, but it was his first feature. And I could tell you from that only one day of working with him that I could see his problems, where as a director myself, I would have came in and said, hey, you need to shoot over here or do this or do that because you're kind of not, everything's boring. Everything's, and steady.
Yeah, even Full Moon has done this. It's just that Full Moon knows how to do it properly. He cranks out a lot of, factory style titles and things, but they're almost always fun and interesting because he knows how to do it.
They've had some problems
not all of them,
too,
maybe, but most of them.
They've had some problems too.
They probably are doing. They're doing better than this.
Yes, they are. No,
Oh, yeah.
I would watch in a Full Moon movie more than I'd want to watch this.
And that's the big thing. Instead of being fun, these movies, especially this one, is just dumb. There's just dumb stuff. Like, for example, this is a classic example of why nobody thinks. this all takes place because of this supposed massacre of an orphanage, which doesn't even have to happen because it's so stupid. I don't know why you would do that, but it does. But it happens in the 33 years in the past. And the very first thing you see is this woman like saying, I know you were involved, to this guy who looks like he's 32. So he doesn't even look like he was born yet. So how can he possibly be involved?
That's what I was saying. Like when I was watching it, I was like, wait a minute, when does this take place? Because I thought this was supposed to take place like maybe 5, 10 years
That's what
after.
I was thinking
You know,
originally. And I
right?
was like,
Because there's no cell phones or anything. I don't think they ever use a cell phone. I don't remember that. So like, I always thought it was like
Well,
took place
they
like
do.
they
they
do.
do.
Yeah.
When was it? I don't
There's a
remember.
couple of scenes where they have it. In fact, I was the other thing I was going to
Oh
point
yeah,
out
that's
is
right. That's right. She's on the phone
Eva
with
has
him.
one, and instead of like there being a ring, it's like and I was like, what the hell's that? And then she's answering her phone.
Yeah. Okay. I agree
some
because
big
there's a
problems with this movie.
I know there's just so many. It's just hard to focus on like all the tiny ones when there's so many giant glaring ones.
Yeah.
You know, for another thing, when she goes to like the hotel guy, okay,
Okay.
that's the second guy.
Yeah.
the second
Remember
guy.
they found the card that said the
The name,
Hotel
yeah.
Noir or something.
Yeah.
And the first thing she says is, "I know that you are involved." And I'm like, "No, you don't. You found a card that had his hotel's name on it. That's all you know."
There could have been a million people there. You don't know. Like,
Yeah.
I know.
It's
What
just
detective
like,
work was done
what?
that day?
But see, that's the thing. Like, what I was like upset about, because I've been watching Law and Order, a lot of old school Law and Order, and really how they do their investigation is somebody they'll go and talk to somebody, and then somebody will say, "Oh, I remember this person," and they'll say the person's name, so they go and check out the next person. That leads them to the next person, and right, who says that person's name. So you have to say a name of a person. It didn't seem like any of that ever happened. It
No,
just they
that's
just
the other
show.
guy, Frank, who ends up getting killed with the other chick, where he's like, well, I can't give you any names, but there's a government guy, and there's somebody else involved
Oh.
that, and he doesn't give names. And then the very next scene, she's like, he gave us 2 names. I'm like, what? No,
Did
he
not.
didn't.
He did not.
Or the one guy she left alive because she believed him, and I'm like, why are you believing a complete stranger?
This guy.
Like, yeah,
Didn't
but you
believe
didn't believe the
anybody
guy that
else.
you just shot the last time.
Right.
Like, what is going on?
What's
Why
different
is
about this guy that
I
makes
know
that guy? Yeah.
unless she liked him and there was some kind of love thing there, but there wasn't
That wasn't
really.
in the movie.
No. And
And
like
not one of them says something like, "You're a nun. Why are you showing me your leg or showing me your boobs or coming on
Well,
to me? Isn't
because
that creepy
There
as
were a
hell?"
lot of comments being like, well, you're that kind of nun. And I'm like,
yeah.
What kind of nun exactly? The fantasy nun from Hustler magazine? They
oh, well,
don't
That's
aren't
exist.
you
prob-
interesting? Like a lot. And I was like, oh my God.
I don't know what porn they're watching, but like that just seems to be that's that.
That's
I
up
mean,
there with the pizza delivery guy with the dick in the box saying, "Oh, extra sausage for you." That doesn't happen.
No, it doesn't happen. But also, like, it's not like that's actually how it went down either. Like, it's like the whole like leg rubbing thing, and he's like, oh, and then there's like a cut scene. I'm like, if you're going down the rabbit hole, go down the rabbit hole, people. Like, come on. Like, which way are you going with this movie?
They were
Um,
very afraid to do anything with anything like that, which is why, the other thing about these kinds of movies, you tend to see a lot of skin. You really don't see anything like that in here. You see some kind of skin, maybe a little bit. You see people in brasiers and stuff, but that's it.
well, so there was like this movie which is Bikini Nuns, so you kind of know like it's just going to be bikinis. There's not going to be nudity most likely. And then there's a movie called Nude Nuns with Guns.
Yes.
And that's a real movie,
That's
and
a
that
fun
has
one.
nude nuns with guns, so
Well, I mean, it's right there in the title.
I would hope so,
Yes,
right?
There's a movie that gives you what it says it's going to give you. And I
Yeah.
applaud
Well,
that.
I mean, this gave you
No,
Lost
they-
Grey Nuns, but still, I mean, as close to anything as they
This-
were.
it's
Yeah,
about
I
as
don't get
realistic
why.
as
What
the
was the
2
deal with
nuns
that?
in our background pictures. Yours, by the way, is clearly AI generated because
It's like a
weapons
fake
look
person.
terrible. And mine is a little bit better, but there ain't no nun on the planet who looks like that.
No, and to be honest, if there was a nun that walked down the aisle like that, I'd be like, "Ooh, what's that about?"
Yep, 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 yep. That would have drawn
Yeah,
attention. So that's a
it's
good
like
marketing flaw,
It's
thing.
like Gable Ferrera's Miss
Ah,
45, except they're nuns.
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of what they're trying
woo!
to do. Yeah,
That movie, I just bought that, and it's yeah, no, but that's a yeah. You can't compare though. Like that's
No, you
just
can't. I mean, you can't compare.
oh, I
no.
know. I just love throwing that out there because
Yeah, Abel
it's
will kill you.
ridiculous.
If you want an interview with Abel, I hope he doesn't ever listen to this. How dare you compare Miss 45 to Bikini Nuns? That's
And at least the two younger looking ones, even though I don't know they still weren't like traditional bombshells, not enough to like overcome the creep factor that there's a nun hitting on you. Our,
mm,
our lead actress does it as well, and I'm sorry, I just was not buying Sister Menopause there, hitting on me like that. That just wasn't going to happen. Sister Charles Bronson is what I wanted to call her. It was oh my god, just
and
please
then
stop.
What it would have been more fun, actually, is if it was like more normal looking nuns. Not get rid of the bikini component, but like have it be more of what we all envision of a nun who
With
isn't
granny
necessarily
panties.
trying to be attractive. They're just a nun. And next thing you know, they're killing people and investigating. Like I feel like that's such a better thing. Like
yeah, I
Especially one's Whoopi Goldberg, and she did play a nun that one time.
she did. She was
oh
amazing. Come on.
Sister Act. I love that
Sister Act.
movie.
Sister Act.
Yeah.
There were like three of them, weren't there?
No, two of them.
Too.
Only
And
two, sadly. But I wanted a third one. I think they're talking about either
they were. I don't
remaking
know if they're
it or
gonna do
something.
it. Who
If
knows?
Sister Act had guns and they were whacking people, I would have loved that a whole lot
That
Well,
would have
more.
been amazing because
there was
Sister
a
Act was
and
hilarious.
there was another movie called Nuns on the Run.
Yep.
You
That
know,
was
that
fun.
That
I
would have
was
been
love that
cool
one.
too.
well,
I mean,
no, that's
that
a
might be
fun
actually
movie.
really funny.
No, but
Might be.
unfortunately,
Sounds like it could be.
But it's
this.
just this one is so sloppy. Like, okay, here's another example. They have a strip poker
Oh God!
game.
I
And I
forgot about
don't
that for a
understand
second.
why. It's so stupid, but they're playing with chips. I'm like, isn't the whole point of strip pokers that you're supposed to be playing with your clothing?
Yep. And then every once in a while it would pan out and you'd see like a half a shirt down. And I'm like, no, if you're taking off an item, you're taking off an item.
Yeah,
Like, have you not played strip poker?
they probably haven't. None of them
No.
probably have, and they're just like, "How do we play it?
Yeah,
I don't
AI
know."
generated that line, and now they're like, oh, how do we make this work?
Yeah, this was written by ChatGPT.
It might have been. The
I,
writing is horrible.
the writing is boring,
It
and
stole
has
a
no
lot of lines from other
it,
movies.
it does not
Oh,
have a
yeah.
soul or heart to any of it. And the one thing like when the I guess when we get all of the exposition of what happened with the massacre and stuff with the woman talking and everything, and then all of a sudden she gets whacked and the other girl gets whacked at the same time, basically, like
Hmm.
two shots or something, and then the girl just goes like this,
Yeah.
and I'm like, I'm like,
With the
wait a minute,
toy
I
guns and
thought
the
she didn't.
non-blood.
I thought she didn't die. Oh, I showed you that picture. I sent Paul a picture, and it was like it was one shot was just like here, like where it's out off to the side. The other
Uh-huh.
shot was where it was going like this, and you could see the red part of the gun where it was a
Oh.
toy gun. They didn't even paint it.
And the
They just
sound
Oh.
left
effect
that.
sounded like a stapler. It sounded like an industrial
It probably
stapler.
was a stapler.
Awful.
Oh
There's
my
no
goodness.
muzzle flash, and then like the one guy gets killed. There's no blood, and then it cuts and it's close up, and there's blood, and then it goes back and they leave, and there's no blood again.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, it was terrible.
There were
Like,
so many continuity issues. It was
yeah.
driving me nuts.
It was incredibly sloppy.
It
Incredibly
was.
sloppy.
Sloppy is such a great way to describe it.
And this is the worst part is like this was a first director's thing. I don't know if anyone else could have made this any better. Like I don't
No.
if Tarantino got the chance to direct this movie, I think he would
Would
have
have
thrown
changed
the
the whole
script out and redone it himself,
Absolutely.
and
100%. He would have redone it.
he would have
And
made it
then,
fun.
like, they're trying to make this M. Night Shyamalan twist at the end, where, spoiler, it turns out, it's the Robert who's doing it. That's like,
I knew that
what's
from the beginning.
point? What is the point of that? Why don't you just kill these three people long before any of this starts and save yourself the trouble? You know what I
And to be
mean?
honest, I already knew the beginning, like from
Well,
the minute it started, I was like, oh, he's the bad guy.
but there was a part where they like confronted him first anyway, and then he goes, "Oh no, it's not me." And then they're like, "Oh,
Oh, okay.
okay. All right, we're gonna go to do strip poker." And then they come back because the strip poker guy is the one who tells them it's it's him. So I'm like, wait, they just knew it and they left that guy, and now they're
And
going
they went to play
back.
strip poker to fill the scene. And
Uh,
honestly, this could have been a short.
Yeah,
so
Take
they
out
knew
all of the
more
bra
about the
scenes.
real guy that was involved than they did about the two that they tormented out of nowhere with nothing.
Yep.
I know. And so they come back and they're like, "Why did you make us do all this stuff?" And then the one girl gets shot. And
Yep.
then on top of that, my favorite part is she goes, "You killed her." And I'm like, "How do you know? Like you guys
Right.
literally didn't go over there and check her pulse or do anything. You just
I thought
assume
she was
she's
shot in the
dead."
arm.
Yeah, she didn't look like
Well,
she
that's
got shot in
because
the
it
heart.
was poorly shot, literally.
Right.
No,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
pun I don't know was intended or not, but like yeah, that was everything was
And
poorly
I
shot.
love how all of these things take place pretty much in public. Right? All these people are getting shot. There's no consequences. Nobody hears anything. There's no police.
There's
Nothing.
nothing. Yeah.
It makes you wonder like what it, like because obviously in the UK you'd have police there in like a second, but like are they trying to say that the people like Americans that watch these movies are they going, "Well, I guess there's no police around ever," like that's it's gonna make them think that.
Well,
But
I
then
mean, I think, don't you think that they are making these movies for the people that don't think? Like, they're not asking questions like we are.
I don't think they are like they're
Well,
just
that's
They're
the
just
looking.
thing,
watching
though.
it.
So if you're not thinking, you want, what John Landis always said. You need boobs, blood, and beasts.
Yep.
You're not really getting any of that either. That's the problem.
Mhm.
That's why this is a massive fail. If you're going to give us something that's dumb or something you're not going to think about, you better at least go for the exploitation angle, and
The
you failed in
entertainment
that
of it all.
too.
Yep. I agree.
It, it's so just badly done. Like they don't it's like they like you said earlier, Paul, they just don't care. And I think maybe even you said that too, Danielle. They just don't care. They don't care
That's what it
about.
Yeah.
feels like.
Nobody went and read the script before they shot it. They said, "Oh, here's a script. Let's go."
Oh God. So I'm gonna give
How
you an
many
example.
how many drafts do we do? You
I'm
know?
gonna give you an example of something, Danielle, and they'll show you the difference between our company and I guess the people who made this movie. I gave Paul a script for the Dark Office that we had written, that my friend Colleen and I had written together, and he looked at it and was like, "This is no, this is bad. This has this problem, this problem, this problem." And so I had to go back, rewrite it, fix up the issues that we had, sent out another draft to Paul, and Paul was like, "Okay, everything's fixed to like where everybody agreed that this was ready to go." Then we shot it, and on set we didn't seem to have any problems. It's not completely finished yet. We've still got some post-production work to finish,
Yeah.
but it should be finished by hopefully by the time this comes out, it should be already done. But this podcast. But the thing is, like, we were working on it and everything and trying to make it uh better because we don't want something that's crap. You don't want to have to fix it while you're on set.
No.
And that's what I think a lot of these companies do. They're like, we'll just fix it when we start shooting it, and you
And
don't.
the
You don't fix
problem
it.
is that it's very, very simple. You need a second or third pair of eyes looking
Absolutely.
at it.
Yep.
Because if you and I've been there myself because I've written some stuff and you think you're telling the story because you're seeing it, it's in your head, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you've translated that onto the page for other people to see. You
Right.
think you have, but until you hear from somebody else with an objective point of view, you don't know that, and you need to have that because otherwise you're going to have stuff like this where you think things are covered, but it's not, and you
Correct.
don't realize it.
100%. And it, like, there's nothing wrong with doing draft after draft after draft until you get to that point, because it's going to make everything easier once you get to set.
I
And
mean,
that's the time when you make your movie. You make it in the writing stage when it's free and you
Well,
have total control.
There's a saying that they say that you make your movie 3 times. You make it when you write it, you make it when you film it, and you make it when you edit it.
Edit it, right?
yeah. And then the final baby is when it's out there for everybody to see.
And then it's made.
Yeah, it's made. You can't do nothing about
There's
it, you
nothing you
know.
can do.
Yeah, which is funny because I think I told Paul about this before, but I had a critic who watched one of my shorts, right? And I said, what'd you think? And he said, "Oh, I didn't like this lo one line in the movie or whatever, right? And I think you should re-edit, should go back, reshoot it, and put this other line in there." And I was like,
Ha.
"Um,
Yeah, no, that's not happening.
what?" Like I was like, I'm not no what? Like I can't. That doesn't make any sense. Like even if that once
We're
it's
calling
made, it's
everybody
out.
together
If you don't
to
like it,
reshoot the
that's
scene.
fine. But if you don't like it, because I don't know, maybe he did or didn't like it, but he was telling me that, and I was like, you've never made a movie before, have you? Because you can't just
Well, that's the other thing about critics, right? Like, there's a lot that have never actually been in the business.
Mm.
They just write critiques.
Well, it's funny because like Roger Ebert is one of my favorite critics, and he wrote something. He's actually wrote a movie that's actually part of Criterion. It was a Criterion film and everything, and it was produced by one of those big people that Paul likes. Uh, do you know what I'm talking about? Which one movie I'm talking about?
Um,
Uh, he did God.
yeah, he actually did he was involved in a couple of things actually.
Yeah, he did Beyond the Valley of the Dolls.
Yeah, yeah.
And he wrote it. He didn't like it. He didn't think it came out great. But he can
The work.
say after it's done, I wrote something. It
Yeah.
got made, it got produced. I know how like the industry works, so I can actually critique things. And I feel like a lot of critics actually say, well, I could do a better movie. And so, well, go. I
And go
mean,
do it. Yeah.
go do it. I would love more critics to go out there and try to make a movie.
Well,
Feel free.
I'm so bad about that stuff, right? So I have a perfectionist personality. I struggle to watch anything I'm in. I wrote and starred in a film that I also produced last year, a short film. And it's like, it's done pretty decent on the festival circuit. And we're going to premiere it with the cast and crew now that the circuit is done. And I have watched it. And there's about 800 things I want to change in it because that's just who I am.
Yeah.
Like I've gotten fantastic feedback, but I'm also like, oh, I wish I had done that. Oh, we should have done that. But that's who I am. And so it's hard for me
Mm.
just as me being me. And so that's why I say like I can say I did all those things because I have, but I also am like, oh, next time I'm going to do that, or I should have done this. And then in my head, I even am like, can I go back and do no?
Yeah, I hear you. I kind of am like that myself with the stuff that I write. But then at this point in my life, I know that it's like you only have a certain amount of time and you can only do what you can do within the parameters of when you can do it. And
In those moments, yep.
there's no point in having regret. You just do the best you can at the
Uh,
time and then you move on to the next project. And if you
Absolutely.
need to do better, you just do better.
Yeah,
I'm the
there's no regret for sure. It's more just hindsight is 2020, right?
Mm.
Right. And I'm the exact opposite. I'll watch all the stuff that I'm in or that I've worked on, and look, I'll see flaws. I'll be like, oh man, I wish we had time and could have fixed that. There's some things I'm glad that I didn't do. Like there's a producer of mine who wanted to do extra shots, and I told him no, we don't have time, and I don't regret it. It wouldn't have added anything in my opinion, that would have made it any different than
Yeah.
what we did. And so but if I had watched it and I said, "Oh man, he was right," I would have been upset, but then I would have been like, "Yeah, it's over." Like I once it's done and out and it's like available for people, I'm not
And it's
Zack
over.
Snyder. I'm not going to go back and fix my movies and
Oh
change
no,
things
no.
and
You're not
re-edit
gonna have
and
12 director's cuts.
no, because to me, the movie, Kevin Smith once said, the movie that's out there is his director's cut. Right? Because he let it go out to begin with. So Mallrats, the regular first version of Mallrats, is the
I
director's cut.
I can understand to a point, though. For example, Benicio del Toro's film Mimic, he did
Mhm.
not have control over the final edits of that
Not
film.
Benicio del Toro, good. Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, Guillermo del Toro. Sorry,
I
and
don't
he,
Benicio del Toro is a different.
sorry, But
Yeah.
yeah, he did not have control over that, and so it did not come out the way he wanted it to. So later he was able to do that. So that's a different situation. I think
Yes, I agree with
they
you.
have every right to go back and do that if you can get the rights back to it.
Or Daredevil because like they had the producer's cut or something, the director's cut. You know what I mean? And everybody has their chance to go back and do it, and do it the way they want to do it. If
It doesn't
they're able to.
always work. As much
No,
as
it
I
doesn't.
love Apocalypse Now, Apocalypse Now redo with like an extra hour and a half, most of that really I can understand why it's
Unnecessary.
out.
What is it? My dad likes the theatrical cut of Blade Runner. A lot of people love the final cut or the other cuts because there's like three other cuts, of that movie. So, I mean, it's one of those things where, some people be different. I would rather I'm happy right now. Like if I ever make something to hopefully have the movie that comes out be the movie that stays, that I'm not going to try to change or anything or want to change.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'm not going to change it. It's done. It's out there. It's in the
It
world.
was great.
Thank you.
Yeah, she sent it to me so I could
Oh,
to
I want to
give
see, I
her.
want to see, I want to see.
I know
Let
I've
me look
talked to
at
her
it.
about it. She said when things are whatever,
Once the premiere is over and our
it was
distribution is
she'll let
finally.
us review it
Yay.
for Short Film Saturday, which I think it definitely deserves to be reviewed.
Thank you.
Okay.
I appreciate
Yeah.
that. Yeah, no, it's been kind of a roller coaster, but um it's a fun film. Paul, I think you'll enjoy it.
Yay.
But
Can't
yeah, you
wait.
can send it over to Paul if you want.
Okay, I'll definitely will.
But
Well, it
We
sounds like
love.
there was effort involved in that as opposed to this particular film, where it just felt like, as you said, we got to get this done by next Thursday. Just throw
yeah,
whatever at the wall and see what sticks.
yeah,
Uh,
no, nothing stuck. So
Nothing
but
Nothing.
stuck.
yeah, we still
Nothing.
have a movie in front of us.
I mean, it is a movie. My biggest problem with the movie is it's way too long. It's like an
Oh my
hour and
God. What
36.
was I kept being like, well, how much longer are we going for this? This it's no, no, no. Mm-mm.
It
I
wasn't
was,
like there were all these incredible plot points to follow either. It was
Correct.
the same thing over and
You
over.
could just cut the filler of the bikini bodies. That's not bikinis.
That was a quarter of the film right there.
I know, like, yeah, cut half of those out. You got like half the movie done, or
And I
whatever.
want to know, like, what on set was the director saying? Like, put on makeup, but do it very slow and make yourself look alluring.
Mm. Yeah.
I, I, I don't get it. I just don't understand.
I don't know. It was not.
No,
It was
I
not
was
good.
trying to come up with something, and the only thing I can think is in the opening scene when it starts with her like that. I guess you could kind of be like, oh, and then she puts her little nun outfit on, but
I
maybe then
mean,
that's it.
if you do that once, first of all, let's establish these people as actual nuns before
Correct.
we
I
before
agree.
we
That
do
was
this other
the
shit.
wrong order.
But if you're gonna do it, just do it once. Because if you do it once, where you're seeing them without the habit on, where they're actually doing something other than being a nun, it
Yeah.
carries a lot more weight for the scene and for the character, and it tells the audience that there's something else going on. There's more to what's going on. This, it doesn't do anything other than just look weird and jarring and unnatural.
Agreed. And what could have been interesting is had they established that they were nuns and actually made them look like nuns, and they did nun things. Is that when they do go to their private quarters, they could do the whole lingerie thing, and they could have it be where it was like one girl, and then it cuts to the other girl, and they're all three are standing in front of the mirror at the same time doing their hair and makeup or whatever, and then they all meet in the hall and they're dressed in regular human being clothes. Like they could do something like that and have it establish that, and then be done with it.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like they wanted to do like a nun James Bond with it, and it just didn't work.
And
Like,
how about a little bit of background as to how the hell this thing even exists in the first place? Why are there nuns with guns? Why are they killing people? Why does it seem like they're also, because it seemed like there were those other two nuns that had some other thing, that record producer they talked about. Is this some kind of really weird Catholic hit squad that's going on? Where
I
does
think
that
that was
come
the point,
from?
right?
I know, but like, what happened to that one girl? Like, she shows up a couple times, but like, you never see her when like any of the important
Never
stuff is
see
happening.
poofed.
Yeah, because she's like,
Tells me she was unavailable.
She was none available.
she was none of. Oh God, it was terrible. It was like because she was there talking to them, and she was, "Oh my God, what happened to that girl? I can't believe that happened." And then like the next shot, you don't
It's
see
not
her.
there. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, wait a minute. So did she like? Oh, did
Maybe
she
she can only shoot on like Mondays or Sundays. And
none
then
days?
Mondays.
Mondays. Oh, it was
Um,
funny. She was one of the ones who went to the older nun, and she's like, "Oh dear, you are a goddess." And I'm like, "A goddess of what? Pouchiness? My goodness, please, come on." I'm sorry. You could have said that to the other girl, maybe, but
But at least they should have cast it to fit the dialogue.
yes,
Like they didn't even do that.
or adjusted the dialogue, maybe.
or just adjust it if you like. But even then, maybe they wanted to make that girl look like
Well,
she
the thing
was,
is,
you know.
okay,
But she
so
didn't look.
for Chrissy Wama's defense, she was younger and thinner when she did Dinosaur Hotel, and she fit that role better back in 2021. It's just time marches on, and
Yeah.
none of us
None.
look exactly the way we did in our best shape, and reality sort of has to catch up with you, and
You also have to accept that. Like when you submit, I used
yeah.
to be able to submit for like the pretty sexy girlfriend, and I don't do that anymore. Like generally that's not my role.
Oh, you did great as the lawyer,
Thank
you
you.
know.
I was
Well,
going to say you can get away with it. I don't want to worry
Oh,
about
thank you. I
you.
appreciate that. But from
But
a
in this case, no.
yeah, no.
yeah, I mean, you could have played any one of those parts, to be honest, and you would have done a much, much better
Please
job.
let us reshoot this film with
No,
our way.
no, no.
Please, this would be so much fun. I guarantee you it would be
In our
fun.
10 days of shooting.
10 days of
Yes.
shooting and our yeah, with
Nasty nuns with nunchucks. That's what it's going to be called.
yeah. Okay, see that I'd be okay with. I don't want to do something called Bikini Nuns. Like I
No,
just no. Unless you actually have
Or
bikinis,
it would
naughty
have to be.
nuns.
I don't. And you know what's funny is I don't get why they weren't bikinis because lingerie is more revealing than bikinis are most of the time.
I think that might be why they did the more revealing thing,
Well,
right?
and bikinis are like, if you're going to fight somebody like physically, there's a lot less material you have to work with. So I think that's probably better. With lingerie tends to be flouncy and
Yeah,
extra material just gets in the way.
yeah.
It's strange.
I don't know. It's weird. I also can't get over the actual nun outfits. That just drove me nuts. I was like, no, no. If you're gonna be a nun, don't try to be a sexy nun. Like,
Nope.
no. Mm-mm.
Yeah, no, that's like Spirit of Halloween kind of costume that you get for
Yes.
That's
fifteen
probably
dollars.
where they got it from,
Probably got it there.
you
And then
know.
the priest, did you notice his collar was very, very, very wide?
Yes, I did notice that.
That didn't look right.
Mm-mm.
It's probably
They
because
definitely didn't have like a consultant.
And at one point, where the three nuns ish are walking into the stone, they're looking into this, I guess, a stone chapel, and then all of a sudden you're looking
In
at
the
this
cemetery, yeah.
giant thing, but they're all wearing sneakers.
Oh yeah, no, that's actually a thing. That's actually a thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know a lot of nuns that bounce between sneakers and like the shoe loafer things.
I've actually seen it because so we go to the studio in Fort Monroe and I don't know where it is, but apparently I see nuns walking
Oh yeah,
occasionally.
there's a Catholic school right
Okay,
at
all
the
right.
base.
So when they walk, I see sneakers on
Yeah.
their feet. So I didn't mind that. The funniest thing to me is the fact that the characters are they say at one point they look at each other like it's the priest. And I'm like, didn't he have a fucking name? Like, what are they doing this so that the audience knows who it is, and explains? Like, that's so
Yeah,
weird.
I think so.
Probably. But yeah, 12 years at Catholic school, and in my day, they did not wear sneakers. That's for sure.
No.
Yeah, I mean, I would say so. I also did 12 years of Catholic school, and no, I did 8 years of Catholic school. 8 years of Catholic school felt like 12, but I 8 years of Catholic school, and I towards the end was when I started seeing the nuns switch to sneakers for like when we'd go to recess or if they had to go and do something outside of teaching or church related
Hmm.
I
obligations.
don't think
Grocery
these were
shop.
real nuns though. Like
No,
I know I
not even
don't think
close.
these. I mean not like I don't even think in the movie they were supposed to be. I think that the idea was these were undercover
Undercover, but
people.
they were very badly undercover.
They were so undercover we didn't know that they were undercover.
Well, I think these were
You know?
supposed to be survivors of the orphanage, and the orphanage was a Catholic orphanage. And since they survived, I guess they became nuns because the
Or
plot
did they
demands it.
become nuns, or did they just take that as a cover? Form
No
a,
explanation,
and
you
they
know.
formed like a pact that they would figure it out together. I don't know.
I don't
I
know.
guess, and I
These
don't
are
even know
these are
how.
plot holes that they should
I
have
don't even
found.
know how old they were because because if it's 33 years, I mean, some of them would have been pretty damn young to even
Yeah,
remember much
if
beyond
at
pooping
all.
their diapers.
Right.
Like, yeah, I mean, I can maybe understand because, like, why were they investigating this anyway? Like, what was?
And what took them so long?
I know, but
Yeah,
like,
that's the other part, right? Like after 33 years, half the people
Yes,
are probably dead,
Sister Menopause is 48 years old. Why didn't she do this when she was 24?
yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
I
I
like your
have,
name for her, Sister Menopause.
I'm sorry, I'm terrible. I'm a pig.
Okay.
but yeah, it was weird. It was not a very good movie at all.
No,
I'll say that.
And the thing is that Chrissy Warner, who plays Sister Mary, I mean, at one point she was a Playboy model, and she was a dancer. She did all kinds of stuff when she was younger.
so maybe
It's
she's
just
trying to live out her glory days for too long, you know?
yeah, it's not quite Mae West in oh, what was that movie that we ended up doing where
Oh,
she's
I
like
love,
89 years old
yeah.
trying to be a sex pot. But
Well,
that
Sextet.
yeah, sextet. It's not as
Thank you for
bad as
saying
that.
sex pot because now I got the
But
title in my head.
yeah, it's like you were saying. You at some point you have to pick a particular, or an appropriate role. What she should have done is she should have been playing the priest role. She should have been like the person
The
behind
mother.
the thing,
yeah,
right?
the
Like the
mother,
mother superior.
mother superior, yeah.
Yeah, and then that's what they I feel like they were missing because they could have had her play that and she would have been in charge. Like there could have been the priest who was the bad guy and she was working with him, but she didn't know he was the bad guy and then she
Hmm.
was setting them all out. That would have been interesting, but it feels like and this is and I've talked about this multiple times on different things, but like I watch SVU, was it Law and Order SVU? And what's her name? Mariska Hargitay is like in her 60s now, and she's
She's
the
finally,
captain,
yeah.
and she's the captain, and like the captain's job has always been Kragan was the captain, and he was from Law and Order, or wait, Law and Order, or was it?
SVU. He
Yeah,
was,
but he was in other shows too, as Kragan. He's the captain, so he's supposed to sit in the captain's, desk or whatever. And
more of an administrative role.
yeah, and that's what she was supposed to do. But unfortunately, she gets out and starts investigating all the things, and all these people, including myself, get mad and are like, "That's not what a captain does. A captain doesn't do this." Well, Mariska Hargitay does not want to just sit and let other people do all the work. She wants to go out and be on
She
the,
shouldn't have been captain.
yeah, she shouldn't have been. No, she was voted captain because they had to give it somebody, and she had the highest rank, there. I was like, give it to freaking Ice-T. He don't want to be there. He's there half the time. That's
Well, and
so
that's usually what happens is they don't give the best investigator the administrative job because you're
Right.
losing your best investigator. You give it to the person who shuffles the papers best.
right. And so, but now this season they are really going at her now because they have a new chief, and the new chief is kind of saying, "You're not supposed to be out investigating stuff. You're supposed to be doing all the administrative stuff and everything because they have a new showrunner who listens to everybody and is trying." And I guarantee you, she is clashing with Mariska Hargitay because I guarantee you this is all Mariska's thing, as her saying, "I don't want to be on a desk and sitting there. I want to be out on the field." Well, then whoever was the idiot showrunner to tell him that she should be the captain, like, wasn't didn't do their job right. There's a lot of problems that they're trying to fix, I think, now and
Mhm.
everything. So thank
Well, if they
God.
don't fix it, they're gonna be done.
I maybe because I mean they lasted so long with all that crap
Well,
that
that's what I mean. I think there's a time where everybody's like, enough is enough, and there's so many other things out there.
yeah, that's
Mhm.
true. So hopefully they fix this stuff and then people are excited to see a new season. I'm thinking they're gonna get to 30 and then they're gonna cut it, you
Yeah,
know.
I
We'll
mean,
see.
I, I'm never going to be in that position, but I like to think that at some point I would be wise enough to be able to say, this role probably isn't the one that I should be doing. Maybe if I go to, something that makes a little more sense.
You don't want to be a bikini nun?
Windows closed on me, I think, about 25 years ago.
I mean, those nun outfits or something.
I
You
mean,
sure
you
you don't
could
want to
wear
put
it.
one of those on?
Well, Moody knows I've been begging him to let me play a priest. I bought my own priest outfit and everything. I'm ready to
We
go. It's
got
one of the
we,
things I've wanted to do.
we have well, I mean, we were gonna do that. Like, we have a project, a TV show that Danielle and I have written that I think we wrote it for the priest person to be you if we ever
Yay. But the
directed
thing
it,
is, a
produced it
priest is
ourselves.
something you can age into because you're not wearing
Absolutely.
a bikini. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean,
Or a
any
judge. I could see you doing a judge too.
Ooh,
judge,
that would be
yeah,
interesting.
yeah, with a gavel and everything,
Yeah. In a robe.
So
Order in this
a
court.
robe, yes.
I'll take a pizza with extra pepperoni.
There you go. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, you look at somebody and you're like, that the chick should have probably played like a more
Mother Superior.
Mother
Yep.
Superior role, and then she probably didn't want to, she wanted to play one of
And
the
she
other
was
And
probably
people.
the biggest name on the
and the thing
movie.
is,
Mhm.
you could still want to do that, and I think there are times when you can if the writing is there.
The
If it's
writing has to
done
be
for
there, yeah.
fun, if it's, you know what I mean? If it's
Have
done
to make
correctly,
sense,
you could do it.
has to
It
make
didn't
sense.
happen in
That's
this one.
that's the biggest part is it has to make sense for
Yep.
the
Right.
the movie. But
100%.
if it doesn't make sense, which this movie didn't make sense half the time, or most of
Or
the time.
maybe you're
That's no
trying
part of the
to
time.
create a sense of cringe for your film, but
That's
that's
not the
not what they're
right kind of
trying.
horror film.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah. So yeah, I think we pretty much have
Destroyed it.
talked this movie out. This
It's
movie is
pretty bad.
yeah, it's pretty done.
So you
Like
could see why I chose this one because there's so many examples of fail that I couldn't help but keep
it's
it to
okay. I'm
myself.
never gonna watch this movie again.
No, this
Would
one
I
and
own
done.
it? Maybe. I'd
I
own it.
found on Blu-ray. I'll send you the
One and
link.
No,
done.
thank you. I don't want to buy it on Blu-ray. I buy it on DVD because it's something I'd get for like $1.
Boo, says Chris Seaver. Boo, the
No,
Blu-ray or the
but
DVD.
see, his movies are shot wonderfully, but much better than this movie. This movie is
But that's
not
the other
shot.
thing too, right? Is like it's not even shot well. Like there's
Yeah,
Mm,
no part of it is good.
no. There's
no.
nothing. There's nothing to go home and say. I mean, the only thing I can say about it is we saw the movie, so there was, it wasn't too
But
dark. We can hear the movie, like I could
When
hear it.
hear
I
it,
couldn't
when
understand
I'm
some of the
couldn't
people, but
understand it.
trying to come up with something positive to say, like I said, I think Clara Legabalas Moha, who played Eva, I thought was pretty good. The really
you
tall
said she
nun.
overacted though, right? A
No,
little
no,
bit.
no, no, that was the other one. That was the
That
fourth
was the
nun.
one in the pool.
Yeah, I like the
Oh,
nerdy
okay.
nun.
Yeah.
She, I think, I did a pretty good job, and I'd like to see more from her. I'm hoping she does more work. So we'll have to see.
Yeah. Oh, okay. She was the one that set
It's a
everything
really
up and then
tall
died at the end.
Yeah, she
Yeah.
was killed, unfortunately.
Yeah. I would have liked her to live if that could have happened, but what
Yeah.
was what was the girl doing like when she came over when the girls had her eyes open and she went over to do that? Like, I felt like she was gonna try to close her eyes.
Yeah.
Did
She didn't.
she? She didn't. It was
She
weird.
didn't, but I think she wanted to. Like I thought that's what I thought she was gonna do.
Yeah, so I was like waiting for it and
Well, how
then she
about say
didn't.
a prayer since you're supposed to be a nun, for God's
Yeah,
sakes?
just do
Anything.
that, do the cross or whatever. Yeah, exactly. Do something, but
You're
no,
like,
she just stood there like playing with the girl's hair or something,
Yeah, she's like
like
an
hugging.
OnlyFans nun. You know what I mean?
God. See, there's a movie right there, OnlyFans nuns, you know.
oh, it sounds like you guys got to get writing. Start making the factory work.
Oh, I would do it. I swear I would do it. I'd give up my job in a hoot in a heartbeat to do
He
that
just
kind of
he
stuff.
just knows I wouldn't, you know. I mean, I would, but I wouldn't. I like I would if we had good scripts. I wouldn't I would never allow anything like this to ever
Well, I
happen.
will say that at least like I don't know if you guys have watched Verticals yet, but the Verticals at least are better than this as far as how they're shot.
Maybe how they're
Okay.
shot, but like those
No, oh, the
acting
writing is
is and
absolutely
the
horrible.
writing and
A
that
lot of the
acting is
acting is bad.
when but I think they feel like they do that on purpose. They're told to like really overact on purpose because they sell it overseas, and I guess that's what like
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
China
think that's the
I've
wants.
shot a
case
few of
here.
them, and it's definitely like soft porn,
Yeah.
and
But
all
it's
everything is
not
everything
because there's no like
sexualized.
nudity or anything. There's like nothing. It's
There's no
like
nudity, but everybody's having sex with each other.
yeah, it's true.
And yeah, and it's all that's all it's about. That's all it's about. Who
Yeah,
Yeah.
phones coming to?
there's
Who's
a
the bad
great
guy?
line in Homicide: Life on the Street where Bolander Ned Beatty is complaining about sex on TV, what's his face, the guy that you like,
Yeah, John Munch.
yeah, Munch is saying they do that on purpose. You can't have sex on or nudity on TV, so they give you sex. You know, there's a difference. There's no nudity, but there's plenty of sex. Everybody's
Mm.
having sex, but there's no nudity, and
Yeah.
that's how they get away with it.
Munch was the smartest of them all. I loved him. You know, I was telling Paul earlier, I saw the Law and Order that had a crossover with Homicide:
Yeah,
Life on the
you
Street.
should watch Homicide. It's
I,
great.
I, I think the thing that will kill me with watching that, because I think I tried watching the pilot, and it's film documentary style, and that just drives me crazy. I can't take
Yeah,
moving
it's
the
not.
cameras too much.
That was the first one.
Was that?
That's
That
the
was just
first
the
one. Most
first
of them
one.
aren't like that.
Okay, so it wasn't like that because it
Mm-mm.
felt like that when I watched the Homicide: Life on the Streets episode I watched because it would just film it sort of where you sort of watch the actors and stuff, but it kind of moves around too much. And it just drives me. I can't. It's like my ADD, it made ADHD goes crazy. Like I
Take your
can't.
Flintstones chewable because it's worth it.
I, all right, I may have to do that. But anyway,
Andre
Paul,
Brower is freaking dynamite in that show.
I miss him. Rest in peace, Andre.
Yaphet Kotto. Oh, there's so many great actors in that. Even Robin Williams turns the best performance I've ever seen him do in that show. And I'm
Mm.
not a big fan of Robin Williams, but he
Did
knocked it out of the park.
did you get to meet Yaphet? Because I think didn't he come to Scares I Care?
He did.
Did you get to meet him?
No, unfortunately not.
Why not?
I forget. I think I missed him for whatever reason.
Okay, well, that sucks.
Probably
Um,
because somebody dragged me into the room to watch a movie.
it wasn't me. I don't watch. I barely ever watch movies at the horror conventions because I'm like, I need networking time. You know?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's like they're hard.
Yeah. It's hard to like go say, oh, I'm gonna go watch this movie when you're spending 2 hours and then you miss. You know.
Speaking of which, there is Gross Fest. We're going to be going up to that. I don't know if you're going to be doing that, Danielle, but that's going to be going on.
When is
Yeah.
it where?
July 31st in Pittsburgh.
The only thing I could see happening that would bring me there is if any of my films end up there.
Nice. I don't know what is. I don't know even know what their festival is gonna be like, or whatnot. But hey, maybe. Who knows?
You never know. I mean, I'm on a feature right now that's a horror feature, but it's going like theatrical, just like theatrical release
Nice.
first, and then so probably not festivals, but you never know. They were talking about it yesterday when I was on set. They were like, I don't know, we're gonna submit to Cannes, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that. So
Why do the feeling we're going to see you in the next Oz Perkins film?
The- Do you know who Oz Perkins is? Like,
no,
he's the
Oh,
guy
come on.
that did Long Legs and
Amongst other things. Yeah, he's like
oh,
the
that would
hot
be
director.
cool.
He's the
But
hot
no, I'm
director
not.
right
I'm
now.
not in that. But so this film that I'm in, I love my part in it. It's so it's just fun. But it is still shooting. So once it's wrapped, like I feel like it's the kind of thing you would do on one of your review shows once it's out and about, but not for how bad it is.
yeah, we do like sometimes good better movies.
Yeah, we do.
But
Well, it is. I mean, it is a horror film for sure. So, like, one of the horror
yeah,
Yeah,
podcasts or
we
something.
did one called I Am a Ghost. It's on Tubi. You should check that out. It's
that
really
one
well
was
done.
really good.
Was it?
Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, and we
yeah,
Yeah.
did a non-horror movie that's really good too called Blue Ruin. I would suggest that one as well. It's really, really well done. In
Cool.
fact, that was made by a bunch of folks from Virginia.
That's cool. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah. I mean, I haven't obviously haven't seen the film because we're still shooting it, but I was in the POC last year and that was crazy.
nice.
It was crazy. So I mean, like I said, I don't know what the whole thing looks like, but set was fantastic yesterday for at least for me. Um, and they like these are horror people, so and my makeup artist that's assigned to me worked for Walking Dead.
Nice.
Okay.
Well, Paul, I think we're at that time.
Yep.
Yeah.
We got to start talking about reviewing or at least scoring this film
Ranking.
using
Ranking.
our stinkometer by which we score the film from 1 to 10, where the lower the number, the better the film is, and the higher the number, think about it as your stink dial. You're turning it all the way up. That means it's really smelly, stinky, terrible, and awful with lots and lots of problems. And while we love our stinky movies here, not everybody has the same kind of affection for them that we do. But we take our three scores, we add it up, and then we see where on the ladder of stink this particular film lands for this season. So, who would like to score this film first?
I'll go first. I'm gonna give it a 9. You know, I talked to Paul before, and I was like, "This isn't a 10." Like I would have loved to give this a 10, but it unfortunately we've seen way worse and stuff. Like I'm looking at even Axum's worse than this movie, and what is it? Because even for like a first time filmmakers thing, I think you had people who knew what they were sort of doing enough
They
where
pointed the camera in the
it,
right direction
yeah, like
most of the time.
most of the
Sometimes
times. There were there was times where I was looking at it, I feel like the
it was
it was
lopsided.
it was lopsided or
Yep.
like it was off a little bit and where I feel like that would have drove my DP nuts. Like we have my buddy Chris Roll. He's very like he knows exactly where to put the camera, where
Yeah.
he needs to put it, and he would have been like, like that's just terrible. But enough people like knew what they were doing that it wasn't a total like stink, thing. So for me, who's next?
All right, Danielle, you're next.
I'll go next. I would give it a 9.5.
That's a good. I was tempted, but I said 9. I went lower.
Yeah, I mean, it's just not it. There's so many things wrong, and I mean, like literally running the gamut, right? Like the script is not good. There's definitely some scenes that probably never made it in that hurt the plot. The acting is not particularly strong. There's nothing for me to take away from it really, outside of like one or two moments of one-liners that people gave where I was like, that wasn't bad, but that's not anything that's going to save this movie.
No, no, not at all. I'd agree with that. All right, Paul,
Hmm.
you're up.
Um, yeah, I'm gonna have to agree. I think I'm gonna have to go with a 9.5. It's bad. It's really, really bad and just dumb in all the dumbest possible ways. Although you're right, there are worse films that we have seen. God, I almost expected Donna Lee Heising to show up in this film. It really felt like one of her kind
No,
of
it felt like
movies.
it definitely felt like a Dustin Ferguson the Dustin Ferguson of the UK,
Right.
and that's kind of what like
Except
uh
his are even more talky.
what it,
Ooh,
yeah, yeah, at
More stuff
least
happens in this film.
really?
more stuff happens in this film than theirs, and his stuff's just kind of boring
Yeah, so
with
that's
this
why I
stuff.
have to give it a 9.5. It doesn't quite rise to a 10, but there's enough bad going on there that the stink is pretty palpable. Although, like I said, bright spot there for Eva. She also helped out a lot, and some of the background was actually kind of interesting, and some of it didn't necessarily make sense. But at least when I was looking at things, I wasn't distracted. It wasn't like some of the movies where they just put a fast food menu stapled to the wall and that's it. Somebody put a little bit of effort in the background.
Well,
You know,
I think they probably had some actual real locations, so they probably
mm.
didn't have to do much staging.
I
You
think
notice a couple of the tables, there would be a bare wooden table, and then the next scene that they're at a table is probably the same. They just have
Same
a
table, yeah.
tablecloth on it.
Yeah.
But at least they took that trouble.
Yes, that's
they,
fair.
they're
Some
like,
people
let's make
don't.
this look a little different,
Hmm.
so that we can get away with it. I think a lot of as was stated in the research I did, like a lot of the locations are overused or
Hmm.
there are and you like if you watch enough of these movies you might see and you might go, "Oh, I remember that place from
I remember
Dinosaur
that church. I
Hotel,"
remember
or
that
Hmm.
yeah.
graveyard.
And that's fine. I mean, I reuse a lot of my stuff,
Yeah.
especially my house, and stuff like
But
that.
from project to project, yes. But within the same film, come on, you got to find a different room.
That's true.
You can't tell me you can't find another room to shoot a scene in. I mean, it's just basic stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's how they make it in 10 days, shoots, they can't run to a location that takes time and
Yeah.
it's money out of it. Thing so they just let's shoot in the same room and just have these people put this on, put this cover on, let's just shoot.
And it's funny because I've seen where some movies where they'll just put curtains all over everything.
Yeah,
And it's like nobody lives in a house full of curtains all over the walls,
No,
but they have to do that because they're trying to disguise the fact that but even that is some effort.
they did something. Yeah.
Yes, some people don't even bother. They just don't bother.
yeah. So I don't know. It was not a very good movie, but it was not the worst. I was trying to think of the title and I was like, Hip Hop Locos is definitely
Oh
way
God,
worse.
Danielle,
Um,
have you seen that?
no.
Nope, but
Wow.
it sounds bad.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's that's the worst 10 plus we've ever done.
Real.
Yeah, it's just it was so bad that we just talked to each other the rest
It's
of it, like throughout
pain.
the whole
It
movie,
is
like
so
because it
painful.
really wasn't there, nothing really happened that like we needed
And
to be
shit.
focusing.
Oh
Yeah,
my.
they would say the same things over and over again. They would do
Yo,
things,
essay and shit.
and the beginning went on for like 20 to 30 minutes,
You
and
couldn't
Paul said,
see anything.
and Paul was like, "Oh, by the way, this is the whole movie," and I go, "What?" And then it wasn't, thank God. And he was just screwing with
It
me.
was close
But
though.
it felt like it, because
That's not good.
no, it's bad when people can just get a camera. Now, anybody can just get a camera now and just go make something.
They don't even
And
need a camera now. They just need a phone. You can just
right,
download
well,
the
that's
Black
their
Magic
camera.
app. Yeah.
Yeah, and I do that. That's what we shot. We shot some short stuff. I need to know if we can use that short stuff anymore or not,
Or I'm thinking the other film we did was the Wizzo the Clown Christmas special
Oh
movie
yeah.
where the guy set up a camera on the tripod and it never moved and everything just was like happened right in front.
Oh God.
Never ever moved, never changed sets, never did
Somehow
anything.
this made it out into the world.
Yeah,
Mhm.
it sure did.
Yep, and people can see it, I don't
I
know.
can't tell you how many films I got sitting in the background that can't haven't made it out in the world yet. Like, whoa.
Yeah, and then yeah, the movies that are shit, get put out there or whatever, and
Luck. A lot of it has to do with luck and timing and
Yeah.
stuff you have no control over.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yep. So anyway, that's do I wish that this movie had never, made it out? Like
I'm glad it
I
made it out.
I
I was entertained by it.
I
It
know
made Paul it gave Paul a good laugh.
It
it
did.
gave Paul a good reason to make us all watch this stuff.
Yeah.
So, by the way, Danielle, when I told you we were watching a movie called Bikini Nuns, what was your like literal first thought of like I didn't tell you in person, so
No, you did it. You
I
texted
just
to me, said, "Oh, we're
texted,
watching this." And I
and
said,
then
"Oh, okay."
what were you thinking was going to be like a movie with nudity or something like that or
I have to say I've learned not to read into titles. But my gut was like, I guess we are I guess we're going soft porn maybe. Like that was kind of where my head went at first.
And
And then I was like,
just so you know, had it been that, had it actually met those typical expectations, I would not have. This would not have been on your plate. I would have given you
oh, well,
something.
I appreciate that. But
That's part of the
you wouldn't
reason
have
why
mattered.
I did this, because I knew you guys would be like Bikini Nuns. I can tell where this is going, and no, they did not go there.
which, probably made everybody happy a little bit, that
I mean, if it was those same actors, it makes me very happy.
there's some things we don't need to see, I guess,
Nope. We saw
but
Well,
plenty. And
file that in the Timey Wiseau's butt folder. That's stuff we don't need to see.
yeah,
correct.
yeah. Or didn't Neil Breen do that too?
Yeah, Neil Breen did that too.
I don't like, there's some directors that just put themselves in the movies and then they just want to show their butts and stuff for whatever
That's a
reason.
thing.
Yeah, I'm like, why? Like, what is like, it reminds me of the scene in Disaster Artist where like he's just like, because Tommy Wiseau, like,
Yeah.
they're making fun of Tommy Wiseau, and he's like,
Well, the thing
you
is
need to
that
see it. You need to see my butt.
they think that it's sexy, but it's not. I mean, I would do it just because I love making cringe and making people uncomfortable and making you see something you don't want to see.
Right.
But I'm not saying I'm trying to be sexy because I know that ain't happening.
Yeah.
Your goal is different.
Your
Very
goal,
different
yeah,
goal.
trolling the people instead of just
Ding,
trying
ding,
to make
ding.
something sexy or whatever and stuff. But
You're being funny and making people uncomfortable.
'Cause it's
exactly.
fun.
Yes.
And I'm a troll.
So anyway, well, thank you, Paul, for picking this,
Thank you for making us watch this.
for
Lovely.
yes.
Yep. I'm glad you guys had some fun with it. Yes, it was bad, but so at some point you just kind of turn off the brain part that's like, yeah, this is not Akira Kurosawa, this is not Stanley Kubrick, this is dumb. Let's just have some fun with it and roll with it. See how dumb it gets.
Yep, that's kind of what happened.
Yeah, it got pretty dumb. I will say
Yep.
that. Like it won the dumb
And it was
award.
way too long. Way too long.
Yeah, we should have like a Darwin Award for the dumbest movie. Maybe we should have a
Oh,
dumb
yeah.
score. That'd be fun.
That would be fun.
I don't. We've had some pretty dumb movies though,
We
Paul.
have.
Like I don't know if this would win that necessarily. This is pretty dumb, but like I don't want to even think about
I'm thinking of the South Park jingle. Dum 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 dum.
yeah. There you go.
Your background sound.
Well, thank you, Danielle, like
Yes,
for
thank
coming
you so
welcome.
much.
and you're just as awesome as always. So we always love having you. We'll have you come again. I'm sure it'll
Would
be
love
my
to.
turn again next time. I guess the last one we did was mine, and that was before this one, and that was Eye Murders.
Yes.
So this is worse than Eye Murders, huh?
Oh,
That's
yes.
pretty bad because Eye Murders was pretty bad too. That got a pretty
It
high.
was, but it wasn't this bad.
Yeah, that actually was made by semi-competent people who actually
Yes.
sort of knew
Yeah.
what they were doing.
Mhm.
But this one was like,
It's
yeah,
not.
Well, now that I've given you a stinker, by the time you get back to me again, I will promise to do a very good indie film for you. How about that?
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, it can be whatever. I'm down to watch movies. I like
Yeah.
movies. So
well, and does this
Okay.
help you as an actor to kind of see like
yes.
movies like this?
Yes,
Because
it does, but it also makes me frustrated that stuff like this gets out and other things that I know are like solid don't. I was in a feature film probably, oh gosh, maybe like 12 years ago, and it was a horror film called Scars of a Predator. And it was an independent film, feature film, and that movie was so scary. Like it made and it was filmed like, early 2000s. So, but it gave you this just like super uncomfortable feeling. And it was a full picture movie. Like it has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Like it was one of those movies where you're like, this should be seen. And it's not. Like it's sitting in the director's like cabinet of movies. Like it's not
That's
out in the
fine.
world, and it should be.
what was he not happy with it or?
He ran, I mean, we finished it and the fun and it went into post, but like streaming wasn't a thing when we did it. Everything was still theatrical release only. And so he couldn't afford to do a theatrical release as an independent person. And then when streaming became a thing, he now is just kind of like, I don't know, maybe it's too late, maybe it's too old, maybe
It's
people don't
never
want to
too
see
late.
it.
No,
And
And
he'll make
I
anything.
keep telling him, I'm like, man, you got to put it out there. Streaming is a thing. Like people
Do him a
see it.
favor. Show him this film and say, Tubi's paying for this.
Yeah.
Come on.
yeah,
Well, I think I've reopened that conversation because he came to my film festival a year or two ago, and he was like, what do you think I should do with this movie? I'm like, I think you need to get a distributor. Like, I know enough people. I'll get you at least a conversation. Like,
oh
it's
yeah,
a good movie. I mean, is it perfect? No, but
I wish I could do distribution. That's exactly the kind of thing I'd love to rescue.
yeah.
become an aggregate. You have to. I have a friend that's in the process of becoming an aggregate for a distributor, like for
I would love to do that.
streaming service. Once
Yeah.
he does it, I'll let you know how he did it. Like once he's
Please,
successful.
please, please,
Yeah.
please.
Yeah. He's been talking about that. I just like I just want to distribute or get some of my other shit finished, and stuff
yeah.
and out because like once we get Scary Story Slumber Party Volume 2 out, and then we start focusing on our next project, and everything.
And the book. Don't forget the book.
Yeah, we're working on a book too. So
That's
like
cool.
yeah, the book of short stories. So, it's kind of
Fun.
anthology
That's
thing.
cool.
Yeah, and so we're trying to all these things and if
Spans the universe.
once they start getting done, we'll get Hell Watch Guardians finished, we'll get all these other projects, and then we can start getting things, going. But like we need, one thing after,
Yeah, you have to start. You have to make something. Yeah.
Yep.
I'll watch Bikini Guardians was probably next.
No. With nuns, but then Hell Watch,
Bikini
Bikini
Guardian
Nuns. Yeah, Bikini Guardian. God dang.
Amityville.
No.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Guardian
no.
Nuns.
Now we're just
Guardian
getting
Nuns might be actually kind of a cool film.
Guardian Nuns
Guardian Nun.
with big old guns.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, so
I'm
I
telling
do
you,
enjoy watching.
nunsploitation is just fun.
It is. But yes, so the answer to your question is yes, I enjoy watching crappy movies because it makes me realize that I'm actually okay at what I do. Um but it definitely also frustrates me sometimes, like I said, with like things like Scars of a Predator that definitely, I mean, is it a perfect film? Absolutely not. Like to me, there's no perfect film. There's a lot of amazing films out there, but this, to me, that's a film that people will enjoy. It is scary. It is good. There's a beginning, a middle, and an end. Like there's a true script, a true story. So like to me, that if this kind of crap is out there, then why can't
Well, and then the other thing too,
middle of the road,
this movie was never designed to have a theatrical release.
Correct. Yeah.
And I very much doubt there are very many avenues for this to actually get distributed in physical media. This was mostly made straight to Tubi.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. 100%.
Straight to Tubi.
Yeah. No, 100%. So I'm hoping I can convince my friend to try to revisit it. But like even some of the shows that I did, again, before streaming was a thing, I did a number of like action web series and things when YouTube just started, and it never went anywhere because it was nobody knew the business yet, and like that stuff. I'm like, you should push it back out and like see what happens now,
Uh-huh. Totally. I like that's when I and then that pisses me off too when I know like a filmmaker and a film is really good or that should be out there and they can't get it out there because maybe a producer had a problem and didn't with the director, so now they're not talking, so now they can't put it out,
Right.
and
Yeah.
things like that, and it just kind of sucks in a movie like this where it's just done by factory, done by
I tell you what though, it's maybe I come from this in a little different direction, but as bad as this was, it still entertained me. It still did its job. Maybe not the way it was supposed to or that it thought it would, but it did entertain me. And I do like that, as opposed to, say, God, a lot of the Hollywood movies that are they're just boring and there's nothing to them. Something like, I always talk about Tequila Sunrise as being the most bland, meh mid movie that it's so
Right.
typical of Hollywood where they clearly don't care. It's just something that they're shitting out. They spend, 50
It's
million
dollars,
plus.
yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
They didn't spend that kind of money on Bikini Nuns. They spent, 10,000 pounds of that. So it doesn't get me there like say a big Hollywood production where they're clearly not interested in making something good. They're just filling a slate and that's it. But they're
Mhm.
Yes.
spending all this money, you know?
Yeah,
Right.
and I think that's the other piece of it, right? Is like you look at something like this that's made it out there and for 10,000 pounds, and then you see the big movies that are billions of dollars, and they're not bad like this, but are they amazing?
No,
Some of them are. Some of them are. There are some movies out
but
there that's freaking fantastic,
but see the things like Paul is a completely different person because he doesn't like what he calls mediocre films,
I hate mediocrity.
but what he calls mediocre films, you and I may call really, really good films and
True.
that we really like. Like we love at least I know I love the Marvel movies,
Yeah.
the older Marvel movies. The newer stuff is just kind of boring, and
I
I
don't
feel
like the
like
new stuff, but yeah.
yeah, but
I can't tell the
like
difference between the two.
um, was it Captain America Civil War or something like that? I'll watch that movie over and over again.
Yep.
Age of Ultron I just watched, again, and that's
The
Joss
new one.
Whedon. Yeah, the second Avengers
Yeah.
movie and stuff. And I'm excited for the next one, and everything
Yeah.
like that.
I mean, when that stuff came out, I was definitely one of the people that had like pre-sale tickets because I am
Right.
a Marvel person. I'm a DC person too, though. I was DC before I was Marvel, but yeah, I mean, to me, like there are movies that are blockbuster movies though, and you have to see them in theater to like do them justice, and those are those. And but there's plenty of movies that Hollywood's putting out, and I don't think they need to be. I mean, I'm happy they're in the theater because as an actor, I want stuff to be in the theater. I force my children to go to the movie theater to support films in theater, but I now there are definitely things where I'm like, I can wait till it's streaming, and I hate
There,
that that's a thing.
there are a lot of more indie stuff that's like I mentioned. Oz Perkins is a perfect example of stuff that's now getting out in the theaters. It's unfortunately not lasting long in the theaters because nobody's doing that anymore. But I don't know if you got a chance to see Long Legs.
Long Legs was fantastic.
In
It
the
was so
theater, especially. Oh my God, it was amazing to see it
It
on the
was
big
so
screen.
scary, and it got a lot of recognition. It did very well, like on the
Weapons, that
circuit,
was
and
really well done.
yep,
Well,
yeah.
and
No, I think independent film is finding its path back into the theater for sure. But
And yeah, and there's one I hated when I watched it on streaming that somebody was trying to tell me that Steve Rosinski was trying to tell me that it was much better in the theater because of the sound and it was the one where the I forgot what it's called, but it was like this it was basically Jason like in the view of like Jason Voorhees if you were following him instead of following the campers, and stuff like that. And
Oh,
I forgot what it was called, but
yeah, I forget what it's called
yeah,
too.
but
I
but
know what you
anyway,
mean.
but I forget what it's called because I hated it because I obviously like I watched it and I was like, this is so boring.
Yeah, it
Like
didn't look interesting to me either.
because to me that sounded kind of cool, but then I thought about it before I watched it. I was like, wait a minute, is this mean that I'm gonna be watching, Jason take a leak in the woods and like
Jason Takes the
watch.
Lead. What a great short film. I would watch that.
But like, why would this would be like, whatever. I'm just walking around, right? And that sounds incredibly boring. That sounds like
yeah,
Dustin Ferguson style, like boring. Where
I wouldn't be watching that.
yeah,
Unless
where
you do it Tarantino style. I mean, nobody sees the hitman. Everybody always sees the hitman killing people. You don't see them talking about breakfast, about goofy stuff.
well, no, but like that's got to be interesting dialogue or
Right,
something like that,
right.
as opposed to where, like this movie, you barely got to focus on the campers, right, and stuff. They really
Yeah,
wanted to focus on us following this guy. And by the way, there's literally 5 to 10 minutes of that movie where you're just in the ground waiting for him to be like resurrected.
yeah,
Eesh,
Like,
no,
that's
yeah,
pointless.
that where you hear people talking above him and everything, but
you're like,
like it just goes on, and I'm
I
like,
couldn't do that. That would bother me.
yeah.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
this guy was like, oh well, Steve was like, oh well, it's you can hear the sound all around. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I don't want to. That sounds even worse because it sounds like I'm immersed in this
Then you're
boringness.
buried too.
Yeah, then you're buried, and then you're,
I
right? Like,
mean,
yeah,
I can
it's
see if you're
terrible.
somebody who is completely in love with that character to have to sort of have that version of it and to be immersed that way, but
From a story's perspective, no.
yeah, and I don't really give two hoots about Jason, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
doesn't
I mean,
really
it
do much
wasn't
for me.
really, it wasn't a Friday the 13th movie, but it was like that. Like, it was supposed to be like as if it were Jason, but it was a completely different slasher character
Mhm.
and all.
Well, that means that it shouldn't have been
You
made.
you
Yeah,
you can only get away with that kind of thing in small doses, like the original Halloween where you are the kid in the mask and you go through that beginning. That's only the first 15 minutes of the film. After that, you don't do that because
which
you can't sustain it.
technically I just found out he ripped that off from Black
Yeah,
Christmas
Black
because in the
Christmas.
beginning, I watched it with my brother the other day, right before Christmas, and we saw it in 4K. Made me dizzy as fuck, like
Yeah,
because it was
I
so
wouldn't call
clear.
it a ripoff. It's not like he claimed that this is the first. You know what I'm saying? There's a different thing when you're taking
It was an
something where,
artistic choice.
Yeah,
yeah, it's an artistic
artistic.
choice.
No, he wasn't ripping it off, but he was definitely
It wasn't the first
homaging
to
it.
do it. Yeah.
Um,
Um, yeah.
anyway, I think that's about it. That about wraps it up. So thank you once again, Danielle. That was awesome to have you on the show. Even, I was surprised you were like, I thought you were gonna be like, no, no Bikini Nuns.
I,
No.
I, I kind of wish that I had, let you guys know ahead of time. Maybe we could have gotten like our nun onesies or something, or nun outfits. We could have shown
Wear
up
the
in that.
habit.
That would have been fun.
I mean, I don't know how I look in a bikini, but I'm pretty sure
I'm
I
not
would
doing
be.
a
Lingerie.
bikini, but I'll
Lingerie.
do a nun
Lingerie.
outfit. I think that would be fun.
I'll wear a habit.
Yeah, me too.
Oh my goodness, everybody, well, you guys could make a whole movie out of that.
We
So,
could.
Please, please, please.
all right, everybody. Hope you guys
Sister
enjoyed this.
Holstein.
I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. We'll be back. I'm not sure if it's your pick or my pick next, so where we're at. So we'll be back sometime soon. So please join us then for a new episode of Indie Film Cafe. Until then, everybody, once again, thank you, Danielle,
Thank
and
you.
we can't wait to have you back on. And everybody else, thank you guys so much for checking this out. Join us then. Bye.
Bye.